Hello, I'm TheHappyJawah and welcome to my review of the Spider-Man Web Warriors Ultimate Bridge Battle. Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful, that one. But I've been very excited to get my hands on this set. Like a lot of people, when I saw the initial photos, I could agree that the minifig selection of a whopping 7 minifigures, 6 of which are brand new and exclusive to the set. The minifigures looked fantastic, but the bridge was pretty ugly. But then after seeing reviews and closer looks at it in different angles, I sort of fell in love with this set. Yeah. I also had a bit of an epiphany where I realised that this set could quite easily be used as a normal bridge in a Lego city or something, because if you look at real life bridges, especially like ones in New York, like this one's supposed to be replicating, they are run down, they are shoddy, they have lots of different colours of greys, they're sort of broken down. So I think with a bit of modification, this really could work in my Lego city, which is why I was excited to get hold of the bridge, as well as the fantastic minifigure collection. And for the same reason as using this in my city, I did not apply a lot of the stickers in this set, because they would look sort of inappropriate on the actual bridge, but I'll give you a closer look at them now anyway. Alright, so you would apply these to the base of the bridge here. This is a wanted poster for Scorpion, which one is which, referring to the Clone Saga where Scarlet Spider comes from. There's Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy. Probably just initials of various people who worked on this set. Wanted Green Goblin, wanted for Orizing, maybe that's vaporizing, I don't know. Spider-Man Threatened City, Daily Bugle, Thwip, The Hunt is On with Craven, who is the clone again, referring to the Clone Saga, is Scarlet Spider, is Peter Parker's clone. And then there's all these stickers that you're supposed to apply to the road, but they look terrible, so I didn't apply those. Before I get into the main meat of the set, I just wanted to take a look at all the little extra accessories, I guess you could say, that come with the set. So we just have little bits of fire here to simulate the destruction, a bin that actually has nothing in, which is unusual for Lego, and then you also get this tiny little police squad, which is nice enough. Got a walkie-talkie on the back, handcuffs. It's just sort of weird that there isn't actually any police like in this set, so that's kind of strange. Maybe a police officer added to the set would have just made it even better. But the minifigure selection is good, so I don't want to be too greedy. And the main feature of this is that Scorpion with his super strength can like bend it and even snap it in half. So that's sort of the gimmick for that. Just something more to add to the bridge to make it look a little more populated. And then you have these brand new web pieces. So if I get Spider-Man, yeah, you have all these bits that can connect to the hands, so you can just hold it as so, but obviously that looks a bit stupid. So you get these tiny little clear pieces. I'll get a close-up shot for you. And these are brand new, just this year's wave. And you just stick it in there, and it looks like he's whipping it straight from his hand. And I really like the way this looks. It looks very dynamic and cool looking. Of course, you can combo multiple, so just insert that into there, as like so, and then you got like a full cone, and thwip, and it looks great. So that's pretty cool. This new piece could of course be used for like a Green Lantern ring if it was ever molded in green or trans green or something like that. That's cool. We also get this cute little taxi, which is something that definitely appealed to me in the set, because if you've seen my Lego city, you know I like to stick to the 4-wide vehicles, like the classic 90s look for Lego. And this very much replicates that. I really like the way it looks. You've got the classic black stripe through the yellow. This is built sideways, which is kind of interesting. And yeah, it looks very appropriate. Look, I like the long flat cab. But there is one very big problem with this taxi. That's the fact that it can only sit one person, which is really dumb, because it's a taxi. It should be able to hold more than one person. I guess I can't think of a way to fit more than one person in this particular design, especially with the base that they used for it. I don't know, it's a taxi. It's supposed to carry more than one person, so that's kind of annoying. Stickers. No printed elements in this set. It's all stickers. Oh, and there's this nice one, like with a walkie-talkie and the price counter there, which is cool. Alright, let's talk about the bridge itself, which, as I've already mentioned, is infinitely better looking in person. Looks super impressive. I love the way it looks from this angle. It seems very appropriate if we put the car here. It's a nice size. I really like the way it looks. The suspension bridge design's really cool. You can see the traffic lights down there. It is from the other end. You'll notice it's got this flat side here because you are supposed to connect this up to multiple of the set, which is a problem some people might have with it because it is essentially only half a bridge, which is represented by like the destruction at this end, as if it's been snapped in half somehow. But I don't know. I don't really have a problem with it because the alternative was having this set be twice the price for another one of these on the other end. And this way you sort of do get a nice bridge, a great size. If I put a minifigure here, you can see the size of this thing. It's a big bridge, but yeah. So for people who do want to make it bigger, they can pay for another one. Buying another isn't too out of the question, especially since you can just sell off a lot of the figures as they're exclusives to this set. They'll go for a lot of money on eBay, so you can sort of fund the purchase of another bridge with the old bridge. So I think it works out quite nicely. Also, of course, the best way to tell LEGO that we want more of this sort of set with great value, great detail, great minifigures, is the best way to show that is through sales. Like, talk with your wallet. If this set sells a lot, then they'll make more of this sort of set. Next feature, which I sort of spoiled for you already, is this area comes apart. You're supposed to drive down your taxi, which I've put Aunt May in because Aunt May stole the taxi because she's an absolute bad man. But basically, you're driving along and then swerve off the road, break through that, and then you're caught by... well, you're not, you fall and die. But yeah, there's some spiderweb in there. And that's a pretty cool feature. There's nothing holding it in, it's just sort of like the way it fits between this part. As you can see, it's a little awkward, but it's just the way it fits in between there. That's what's holding it in. And it doesn't blend seamlessly with the other side, but I think it blends well enough. I don't think most people will notice it. There is like a little gap you can see there, but you're not going to notice that unless you're looking from an above view. So, well, in this bottom section, we have Craven's Lair, which is quite difficult to get access to. Lift this ladder up. And in there, you can see a sticker of a map with Spider-Man logo on it. There's a rack with a spear on it, and can also hold his weird blow dart gun, which I'll show later when I show the figs. Then, if we pull around to here, you can attach Spider-Man's webbing to here, and then you pull. And you pull his doors off. Ha ha ha. Cheeky little Craven with it hiding under a bridge like a troll. And in here he's got a chest of diamonds. Above that we have a breakaway wall feature, and this is where it becomes apparent that the designer of this set was also the designer of the Civil War airport set. This particular designer, and we actually saw his journey to becoming a LEGO designer in the Channel 4 LEGO documentary, so that's kind of cool for people in the UK. Fun little fact. But these things, these like traffic lights with the green and red, you just twist those round and they push against the wall and break it out. Simple as that. Now if we come around here, we got this nice sticker on both sides, so with the date 1962, which I believe is the year of the first Spider-Man comic, so that's why that's relevant. And then we have this little top area, which is kind of weird because it has this big opening here, but I don't know, you're not going to see the top that much. And on here you got a little bird's nest, which I guess is a reference to Vulture, who's in the other set from this wave, so that's cool, I guess. And we also have a Green Goblin flag. Why Green Goblin's taking the trouble to paint flags and put them on the top bridges, I have no idea. But this moves up and down because under here there's a little hole where you're supposed to put this net, which I'm going to attempt to do now. I'm not very good at it. You literally just have to shove it up there with with all your force. And then if we put a bad guy underneath, and we push this, and it should engulf him perfectly. Oh, well that was kind of close. It at least like came out nice and spread. So yeah, that's how that works. Bit of a lame feature, but I don't know. Maybe kids will enjoy it. Moving on to the minifigs, we're gonna start off with Spider-Man himself and lovely Aunt May. I have never liked this Spider-Man figure. It's the one that's been used since they brought back this Marvel Superheroes line. I didn't like it when it came out. Don't like it now. He is in sore need of an update. They even got rid of like the boots, that like the dual molded legs that they were giving him last wave. They did the same with Batman, because they sort of looked like Wellingtons rather than actual shoes. But yeah, and this Spider-Man is just too blue. Like making the torso blue, while more accurate perhaps, it just throws the whole figure's colour scheme off. Like the feng shui isn't right, and also printing red onto blue just makes the red look dark and horrible, as you can see. Whereas printing blue onto red works just fine. And I'm really glad to see that this MCU Spidey minifig coming in the upcoming Civil War set is using a red torso as well, because it just works so much better. So yeah, this is a poopy Spider-Man figure. I hate him. I wish he would go away. Moving on to Aunt May. Man, Aunt May has some curves. Yeah, obviously this is a reused Lego City torso, I guess, and it works with the lavender scarf and stuff. But yeah, just the belt and the jacket it just looks weird for what's supposed to be an old lady. Like you look at them hips, and then you look at the face, without hopefully pushing her off to her death. But yeah, I don't know. It works fine. And then she also has a scared face. Moving on to the titular Web Warriors, we have Scarlet Spider and Spider-Woman. Starting off with Spider-Woman, she's kind of boring, but that's not Lego's fault, because the actual design in the comics is pretty dull as well. I would have much rather had the Spider-Woman minifigure that, or something along the lines of this classic Spider-Woman design that came in the Comic-Con minifigure. I worded that very weirdly, but you know what I mean. It's just not a very interesting figure. Both Scarlet Spider and Spider-Woman share the same head, which works just fine. I'm fine with that. I mean, Lego are often sort of lazy with this sort of thing, but in this case, I think the laziness is perfectly acceptable. It works fine. Scarlet Spider is a way more interesting figure. I absolutely love this minifigure. I think his design was always sort of rocked, but yeah, the figure looks fantastic. I love the printed arms with the bracelets, not bracelets, like gauntlets or something. And then you have the hood piece from the Wild Style, which I never actually got, but even if you remove the hood, there's a hood printed underneath as well. So if you wanted to use this hood piece for something else, the figure still works fine, because you've got the hood printed on. And yeah, I just love the Scarlet Spider figure. That's fantastic. Spider-Woman, not so much. In Lego, you often get a load of good guys, but then not very many bad guys for them to fight. In this one, it's a pretty even fight. You get 3 wonderful villains. Well, maybe not completely wonderful. We have Scorpion on the left, who, while a fine character, design-wise is very uninteresting. I mean, it's just green with stripes. And then you got this big molded piece, and this hump just looks really awkward to me. But also, there's no articulation. It's just a hard plastic piece. So if you ever want to do stop motion with this figure, you're out of luck, because it's just a big hard piece. And I don't know, there's just so many more interesting Spider-Man villains they've yet to cover, like the Lizard and Mysterio and Shocker, who would have worked perfectly because he could have worked in tandem with the breakaway wall features, with like his gauntlets that shoot the shocking vibration stuff. So yeah, that would have been perfect. Shocker has a great design. I don't know why he's not a Lego figure yet. Yeah, I mean, he is fine. It's just kind of meh. I think there's more interesting designed villains you could have gone for. He's not very interesting to me. And then we have Kraven. He's almost the polar opposite. He's got an awful lot to him. He has this weird blow dart gun design, which I don't know, it's kind of weird. Throwaway. But this figure just looks fantastic, except for the stupid Vincent D'Onofrio Jurassic World head. I mean, it just looks terrible. He just looks really tired. Alternate expression doesn't look as bad, but I don't know, there's still so many great heads that could have worked better in LEGO's part inventory at the moment. I found a really good head that worked well. It was the Prince of Persia goon, which a lot of people probably won't have and they don't still have in production. But he works very nicely. That was my phone. He works very nicely for Craven, which is great. I've removed like the weird collar thing, and this rocks. I mean, it would be great for a Dark Knight Rises Bane, but yeah, I don't know what this is, but I'm pretty sure it's brand new to the set, brand newly molded. Yeah, it's just pretty sweet and super useful. I can't wait to see what creative things people come up with in mocks for this thing, but yeah, that's pretty cool. And then on the actual torso printing itself is also really nice. Like on some reviews I've seen, the lion printing is a little weak, a little transparent, but it looks like I got a very nice print. And yeah, it just looks fantastic. And last, and certainly not least, we have the Green Goblin. Here's his glider real quick, and I don't know, it's a little bulky for me. I'm not a huge fan of it. Another problem a problem I have with this set, removing the goblin for a second, is there's no way to like actually make the goblin's glider fly. Like, there's no transparent pole piece that you could have put into one of the many exposed studs on the set, like these. It's just flat at the bottom, so you really can't make it fly in any way. You just gotta sit it on top of things, which kind of sucks. This figure is just perfection. I absolutely love it. As I was saying before, like the superhero set seem to know the perfect line between Lego-iness and good detail. Star Wars figures, too much nowadays. But this is just perfect. I love this figure so much. I love the purple handbag. It looks great. The Goblin Bomb looks really metal. Like, this thing looks awesome. It's got the new Ghost Rider headpiece, but like the Ghost Rider head, it's glued on, unfortunately, so you can't remove this hairpiece. It comes in the packet, glued on, and also you only get one of these, which sucks. Would have been awesome to get multiple, but I don't know. Maybe it's an expensive piece to have multiple of. But yeah, that's just sweet. I really love the way that looks. And just the figure itself, it just looks fantastic. I mean, look at it. The purple's perfect, the green's perfect. It's got printed arm scales, which is useful for like a lizard minifigure or Killer Croc. And yeah, I just absolutely love it. He does have a secondary head, where he's like freaking out. I don't know if that's scared or angry, one of the two. But it just looks perfect. The beady eyes look great. The headpiece looks great that they've been using for other Goblin minifigures. And yeah, this is the definitive Green Goblin minifigure. I'm lucky enough to have the old Spider-Man one. Obviously, the printing on the helmet is faded a little bit. The Raimi Goblin always got a lot of criticism anyway. But it's a cool enough figure, very detailed for its time. But yeah, this just looks fantastic. They still continue to give me these comic books. So pause it if you want to read it. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum. Dum-dum-dum, dum-dum-dum. So what are my overall thoughts? Well, the superheroes lines, both DC and Marvel, are very much figures first, builds later, and the builds are often just rubbish while the figures are great. Here, I think the set is first, and then the minifigures then add to the set. I can only imagine how much fun kids will have playing with this set. A lot of the play features are very well integrated. They don't compromise the build in any way. Like, they only enhance it. This destroyed section, you might think, could cut off the ability to attach to the other bridge, but actually, it's only being held by these two plates here. So if you were to remove these real quick, then remove these plates with some difficulty, then this area simply detaches just like that. Reattach these tiles, and then you have a nice clean edge to attach the other half of the bridge to, which is what I'll absolutely do. A problem I have with this set that I've yet to actually bring up is the fact that it's just sort of floating in the ether. Like, it's not attached to anything, it's not grounded in any way. It's just its own entity. And I think if it just, I would have happily paid another £10 just for a ramp to connect it to the ground. I know Jangbricks brought this up in his review as well, because it sort of restricts how useful the bridge is, the fact that it's just there, and because it makes use of these very hard to get hold of large smooth plates. You can't really make your own ramp. It'll have to be studded plates that you use, which will just get rid of the smoothness of it all. So that is a big problem. I would have paid extra just for a large ramp piece, sort of like the Spider-Man bridge set from the original Spider-Man film that came with the monorail and stuff. That had ramps connecting it to the bottom, and that was cool. But this review's probably getting very long by now, which is why I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for watching. I'll hopefully be buying another one of these sets in the future, so you'll be able to see my customized, modified versions. I look forward to that. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one.